It's a rainy, chilly afternoon. So today, for our daily video, we're going to go in the greenhouse and work on planting some companion plants in the ground. Stick around. I feel something building up inside me. I must prepare, I must get ready. Serving you, Yahweh, keeps me strong and steady. For you, Lord, I'll go for green living. Planting around, as you can see. So some Swiss chard and lettuces and just different things. Tomatoes and kale. Now, I've tried it many times growing tomatoes right beside each other and these things, and it gets really crowded, and I know everybody enjoys my tomato forest videos, which I'll link right up here. But I've spaced them out. I put them every other slot now, and I put kale between them, and it works out really well. You can see down this front row, it's now growing in. The reason I do that is because the tomatoes will get really large, and they'll go up the entire length of the strings to the grid, and be about 12 feet long. We'll single stem them, and there'll be lots of shade down here on the ground. They'll get some sunlight, but there'll be mostly shade down here, and this kale will love that, and it'll get the little bit of sun it needs and plenty of heat. Lamb's quarter in between the hours will come out. I'm going to dehydrate it and make a soft substitute with it. It's just one of those projects that I'll get to during my month-long videos. Back plants, I'm not exactly sure what they're called. The seeds were given to me by White Harvest Seed Company to try out, and they really grow big, as you can see. I have a few of them spaced out in the back, and that's a good 3.5 foot tall there. The leaves, they're supposed to be a green, you know, that a green like a warm climate spinach. I haven't tried them yet. I notice these larger leaves, they get an acid flavor. Kind of burn the back of your throat when the leaves get too big. So if anybody knows what they are, please let me know. And how to cook them and prepare them, because I certainly would like to, and they certainly are growing quite well. But in between those, I have planted cucumbers, and the cucumbers will grow up and they'll climb up these strings, and they'll hang above these plants actually, so they won't interfere with them. They'll just be growing right beside. Planted peppers in between my Swiss chard. Of course, I'm going to try to grow my Swiss chard all summer long, and there's several that if you've seen in my past videos that I grow, you know, all season long, and they just work for a lettuce green for us. And we'll take the stalks and I'll lightly braise them and bake them in the oven for a short time, and we have an instant vegetable crop, you know, for us to eat. But I have all varieties of Swiss chard growing right now, as you can see. But in between those, I took and I planted some bananas. They're sporadically through all of this, which I'm going to sporadically put moringa trees through this too, so that they have a chance to grow up and be nice, huge trees. But what we're working on right now is squash. And on the squash, you can see they're on the second row right here. On the squash, I left quite a few spaces because they will get quite large. And I think these are zucchini and saucer squash and straight neck and crook neck squash, and they have quite a large area to grow. But we can put a tall item there and it won't affect the squash any to grow. So I'm going to put, I've started some seeds, some red okra seeds, and if you remember last year, the red okra that I did plant in here, it grew 16 feet tall. So I don't think this low growing squash is going to affect it at all. So let's get some planted and I'll show you after. Planted 3 moringa trees here. They're going to get big this year, but they're not going to get huge. So I want to plant something close to them that won't climb on them, but maybe get taller than them, because a little competition is a good thing when it comes to trees. And if you ever notice in the forest, they're always competing for light. They get taller and taller and taller. So I really want to promote these to reach for the sun. So I think I'm going to plant some of that large okra in between each one of these. I've been told to show a little more detail. Not everybody knows everything about planting, so I don't do a lot to these holes. I mean, when I plant it, what I try to do is to stick them and move them to the side. That give it a nice little place to grow. And then I'll take what in this case, the okra. Let's see. Sorry, one-handed. Right down in there. And then remove the shovel, and the dirt kind of closes up around it. Like that. Just simple. Now move the dirt back around. There's the finished product of the okra and squash. Okra in between every one of them. Here is coriander, which was started out to be cilantro, and I harvested and enjoyed it many times. But I'm not going to waste one of my favorite herbs, coriander, so I'm letting this go to seed where I'll harvest it, and it'll give me hundreds and hundreds of cilantro seeds for this winter. So, but in between these slots of the coriander, you see that every one of them has a slot in between. Like that one right there, I just planted a banana between it. But in between all the other ones, I'm going to plant other crops. I have some more zucchini over there, and I think I'm going to put that in here because it can get big and bushy here and it won't affect anything. Alright, I started stringing up my cucumbers. Excuse me, took a little bit of work to do. I have some green beans right in front that I've started stringing up, and as everybody knows, I pretty much grow vertically, but there's pepper there, they'll be just fine. And I have room here on the ground to grow something horizontally, so I think I'm going to slide a watermelon right in there. I had a slight change. Instead of a watermelon growing there, which it would really do well here because this is the lowest part of the greenhouse, which it's all pretty level, but this area kind of puddles up just a little bit when it rains. But the reason I didn't is because I have a moringa right there and all my red celery, and I didn't want the watermelon affecting either one of those two because they're both very valuable. In between these two, I don't know what they are, hoping somebody else does, I have a poblano and a Texas sweet pepper, and they're going there. Nobody else in the family eats the poblanos but me, so I'm only growing one, and it's just a lot easier just to buy it from Walmart. I know, bad homestead. But I'm going to go ahead and put those there. And I wanted to mention something about these packages here. These things right here, I have been doing this 20 years or so. So I take off everything, even the brown peat moss, because in my experience it inhibits the growth of the plant, and it just slows it down. I mean, it eventually make it through there, but it struggles so much to make it through there. Why force it to do that? Just break it off and just lightly put it in there. Let me show you after I do one. There, I broke off most of it. It was already starting to go through parts of it, but you can see I got off most of it. And the rest of it I'll just use on the top of the ground to help hold moisture in for this plant. In their spots for the next few years. I only carry peppers through for 2 years. True, they keep getting bigger and producing bigger peppers. They get kind of thick and stocky and take up a lot of room, and where these will produce a lot of fruit, and I don't have to keep them, that warm during the wintertime. Spinach, I planted it one time in here, and it's a voracious weed in it now. It's in everything, and it's in every one of these. It's like, hey, I'll grow in that hole. But actually, it can't grow here because I'm growing a moringa here. Good dirt for it. Slide it in. It's hard to do with one hand, I promise you guys. I wanted to mention something else that's difficult for all of us. I planted 3 seeds in this cantaloupe plant, and all 3 of them came up. There's a way that I could do it, that I could keep all 3 of those alive. I just spread them out and string them up and do all this. But it's going to be a heck of an effort and a strain on me and the cantaloupes to do this. I mean, extra water, extra attention that, I need to be spending other places. So the best thing to do is just to pick out one that looks the healthiest, and these 3, they look about the same, but go ahead and cut the other 2 off. And that one falls down as soon as I do that, so, well, I hate doing it, but it's for the health of the plant. You need to do that, and now I'll have a nice healthy cantaloupe there. If anybody's noticed yet, but I put a watermelon in the corner. It can grow off through that area, and it'll be just fine. But these 4 corn plants, and you're probably wondering, why does he have corn plants planted in the greenhouse? Well, these are black corn, and they are very, very tall growers. These literally will get 16 feet high, so they will go the entire length of the greenhouse. I run them behind the walkboard, and they'll go all the way up to the top. Right back down. So, and outside, with the wind around here, it's just a little too crazy for me to try to grow them in there. So, this is my reasoning. Alright, I think I'm done for the day. I hope you learned a little bit about my madness of companion planting. I know there's a lot smarter people out there than me. I just do what works for me, and as something finishes out, I replace it with something that's going to be, opposite of what's growing beside it. So if it's going to be planted between 2 tall plants, it's going to be a short plant I plant there. Just the opposite for, 2 short plants, I'll plant a tall one in between the 2 of them. So, I hope y'all got a little bit of something out of there, and I will see y'all next time. Ani Ove Ocho means I love you in Hebrew. There you go. Living the way you meant for me to live is what I strive to do every day. As I live off the land, lead me at your pace. For you, Lord, I'll go for green living. Help me to feed all the hungry
Use me, Lord, to ease their misery from all this worldly pain and captivity. For you, Lord, I'll go for green living. I feel something building up inside me. I must prepare, I must get ready. Serving you, Yahweh, keeps me strong and steady. For you, Lord, I'll go for green living. For you, Lord, I'll go for green living.